Today's postcard is from the county of Middlesex. We're in Greenford. Well, this is it. All that remains of the original Greenford. The green by the ford over the River Brent. The River Brent is the only river wholly in the county of Middlesex and comes out when it joins the Thames at Brentford. But it was along here that Simon Coston lived, probably about 400 years ago. In the 1600s, there was a farm track and his house was said to have been round here. And it's a tale of witchcraft, we are told. A tale of misers and gold. I have a tale of woe here from Greenford Magna. We'll call it just Greenford, Neil. Show us Greenford Magna here.
That's the proper name, yes.
To differentiate it from Perivale, which was Greenford Parva.
Yes.
I suppose big and little, really.
That's correct, yes.
Tell us the tale of woe, because it does sadden me.
Well, churches that are left open are wonderful places because people can come in them, sit quietly, be themselves, think about God, think about their problems, and just be on their own for a while. But other people come in with rather less honourable motives. And in the last 10 years, we've had serious theft as well as vandalism. We have a 17th century font, which had a 17th century oak font cover, which is now gone.
Yeah.
Two
taken
figures.
The cover, have they?
They've just walked away with the cover, yes.
Very nice.
Two figures up there. You see the oldest two daughters, if you can see them, Frances and Mary Coston. They were stolen in July 1996, and those are replicas now. They look brilliant, but they are replicas, Russell, and the heritage of Greenford, that these things belong to the people of Greenford. They have been taken away, who knows where. Other things have been stolen. Going back to the 1920s, there's a brass underneath just by the main door there, underneath that carpet, except it's not there anymore. It was stolen in the 1920s. And people have been able to come in this church for good and bad motives, and we're very, very sad. The tale of woe is that we are now forced to shut the church, except when it's being stuffed and used for worship.
What actually happens to these pieces, though, that they steal? I mean, you must know if you're going to be a fence or you're going to be a recipient of these kind of objets d'art and ecclesiastical objects. I mean, you must know where they've come from.
Yeah, one theory is that people are asking thieves to go into order and say, we've been to a church in Greenford, they've got nice figures there, would you steal those for us? Well, that's one theory. Others is that people just come in, they see the church is open, so they take them and think we might be able to sell them on. And apparently there is a market in the Far East for English architectural objects. So I don't know what's happened to them. I wish I did, because I'd go around and have a word with them.
If we believe in what we believe in, then what they've sown, they'll eventually reap, these people, won't they?
Probably.
Yes.
Although God is good.
Got a font over there, which you've mentioned, and I keep hearing about the Simon Coston story. Being a local, Coston's Lane.
Coston School,
yeah.
Coston's Lane,
So
Coston's Avenue.
what does this family mean to Greenford? Obviously, probably the most famous family from the area, is it?
Yes, it is. And is one of those legendary figures, those attractive, rogue, sort of rags to riches young men. And he was just an ordinary villager, apparently, in the legend. And in the village was a mill. And there was a miller who was a bit of a miser. And people in the village were quite scared of him. And one day, someone said, we haven't seen the miller for a few days. I wonder what's happened to him. A few more days went by. And they said, I expect he's dead, the old miser. And Simon Coston, who was a brave young lad, said, I'll go into the mill and see what's happened to the miller. And in this particular version of the legend, he goes in and rushes out all of a sudden, carrying with a sheet over his head, going, whoa, whoa, whoa. And everyone in the village ran, thinking it was a ghost of the miller. And when Simon went back in, he found the miser's money. And he put it in his bag and left pronto. And several years later, he came back as a rich burgher. And the legend is he went to Flanders, I suppose Belgium we call it now, went to Flanders where he met and married Bridget, his wife, and made his fortune in the trade with wool. And he came back as a rich merchant and built a house, I believe, in near the river, down in Isleworth. But his family kept their contacts with Greenford, and his wife died when she was only 36 years old, leaving him 6 children. So he had his work cut out.
There's another church through here, everybody, and I've never seen this one church next to the other. And we're going to go in, because I've just been in for the first time ever. I've been in these churches. Most unusual to have 2 churches right close together, and that one really is quite unique. Yeah. Why have you got so many close to each other?
Because in 1900, only 200 people lived in Greenford. By 1950, something like 50,000 did. So not only was a new church built for the Church of England here, but 3 other new churches were built for the Church of England, plus the Baptist Church, the Roman Catholic Church, the Methodist Church, and all the other churches built their churches. And the huge population that had moved here in the first 50 years of the century were then serviced with churches.
Oh, they were. I blame the GWR myself.
That was a key factor.
Yeah, the
railways.
railways.
Go get the key, actually.
Have you? You've got the key factory. Just got to get the key. I'm going to go strolling through here. I have never, ever, in all the places I visited, churches, been so surprised as I am with this. It's like a medieval banqueting hall.
And it's been used as such.
Oh, has it?
Yes, it's a dual-purpose building legally, so as well as worshipping God, the community can set it up to use for secular purposes. And we had, a few years ago, a huge medieval banquet with jesters and serving wenches and mead and everything.
They lift their flags, their banners.
Yes, wrestling and all sorts.
An unusual place to find the altar, right slap bang in the middle.
Well, it should be in the middle, shouldn't it? So that people can gather around it. It's a community gathering around a table.
So why do they always have them at the end? Because that looks like an altar to me as well.
That's the old altar, Russell. And in 1976, 20-odd years ago now, the rector of the day, which wasn't me, managed to get the community to agree to abandon the use of that as an altar to favour a more sort of community feel, togetherness feel. And I think it feels better in the round, as it were. People feel more together, people can look at each other and the singing's better, and you lose that sense of the church being a cinema where people go and watch a show, you become a participant.
Neil was great. We're going to toodle along now. Thanks ever so much.
Nice to meet you, Russell.
Thank you. Bye.